Okay, single level home buyers, or those of you who want to be in the heart of Green Hills, this is one you need to check out. It is 4005 Estes Road, and it is in the heart of Green Hills. It's right between Abbott Martin and Hobbs. I'm going to give you a full tour of it today. My name is Sean Larson, real estate broker here in Middle Tennessee and the 30A Florida market. And I know sometimes when you see still pictures, they serve an awesome purpose, but it's also great to see a walkthrough video that shows you the relationship of the rooms and how everything is laid out. So that's what we're going to do today. It's not a short one. So be sure to grab a snack and a drink, sit back and enjoy the show. Now, before we go inside, I just want to highlight this incredible front yard. I mean, look how lush and level that is. You've got two access points with the driveway going out to Estes Road, which is just super convenient for egress and ingress. Got some parking in front, wraps around the side. And look at that. They did an incredible job on this remodel. Wait till you see the inside. How's that for a view? You step in the front door and look at that. Look at all that glass you see straight through. It keeps the room and the whole home bright. That is awesome. So we're just going to come right in the foyer area. And as I pan around, I might give you some tips or some features that you can use when you look at any home. It's always interesting to see how everybody tackles a remodel and a modernization of a ranch home. And look at that. How open it is. So many people want open floor plans and they forget about what you can do with a ranch. So you've got, look at that, you've got your dining space runs into, look how extensive the kitchen is. And we all talk about how, the kitchen is the heart of the home and that's where everybody gathers for the food. Well, I tell you, a whole lot of people are going to be gathering here. I mean, look how extensive that is. And the selections, they're spot on. I always like to note the selections that people make and how timeless they'll be. And when you go with white like that, I mean, it just lasts so long. Got that subway-like tile on the backsplash. What an awesome job they did. Another thing people talk about when they're remodeling, sometimes even with new construction, you've got the big decision between a range and double ovens. So what they selected was, double full-size oven. Sometimes in a range you have a regular size oven and then a small one. They've got two full-size stacked here in the wall. You've got your cooktop, you got your pot filler right above there so you can easily fill those spaghetti pots. Windows above the sink for bright light. This is a small detail that's easy to overlook as well. See that crank and that latch? You've got the windows that crank out, opens up, lets the breeze come through. Also lets you kind of stay in touch with everybody on the back porch. Just off the kitchen, we have a short hallway. Comes back to another living area. Look how big that is. Got your fan, fireplace with TV above. You've got access to the porch here. And a lot of families need a room where you can just do a little bit of everything. Sometimes you need somewhere, to park that exercise bike, and you've got a game table over here. You've got play equipment over here. Got a piano for all that practice. And, a lot of times you need a room for that. But look how spacious it is. You've got all that furniture, and you still have room for all those accessory items. Windows all around, so it keeps it bright. Just for reference, I'm going to pan here in the hallway. To the right, you have access to the garage. Straight across, you have the laundry. Got some fun wallpaper going on. That looks so cool. And anytime you see a home and it's got a wall finish, and it doesn't matter if it's paint, color, wallpaper, there are some years where the trend was to, put textures on the wall, and no matter what it is, if it's not to your preference at all, wall textures and papers and paints are so easy to change, but that is a fun one right there. So we turn right in the hall, and you actually go into one of the secondary baths. And we're circling around to the front of the home. Awesome finishes there. They made a great selection on everything. Love that tile. Got chrome fixtures. Got the sprayer head. See, that is going to stay in style a long time. One thing to notice too, and it's easy to kind of overlook these details, that is an extra deep tub as well. A lot of times you'll still see the steel and ceramic coated tubs, and those are kind of shallow. So when you see a deep tub like that, it really stands out. So just ahead, just for reference, we are circling around, and that is the foyer up ahead, and we're on the front side of the home, just so you can have reference on how the rooms are related. Got the built-ins there, crown molding. And that's one thing to watch too. If you're looking at a ranch that has been remodeled, you know, some of the features that go into it really weren't common or didn't exist when the original build was done. And sometimes you'll see that with the size of base molding or the size or even the existence of crown molding. Same thing with the door frames. If you look how those are trimmed out, you know, a lot of times that was not done that way when a ranch was originally built. Okay, so we have made a loop through the left end of the house, and we've returned back to the foyer, just so you have reference of where we are in the home. Because one of the advantages about a walkthrough video is so you can learn the relationship of the rooms. So we're going through, look at those hardwoods. Those are awesome. Secondary bedroom, and this is on the back side of the home. Large walk-in closet in the corner. That's something too. Sometimes you'll see ranches when they remodel them. You know, in the year of a lot of ranches, large closets weren't a thing. So when you look at one and you see how extensive in the walk-in closet is, that is a major score. This I love. I mean, look at that floor tile. That is so cool. I personally really like lighter small tiles, or excuse me, lighter floor tiles that are small like that, kind of like the nickel and pennies tiles as well. I really like those. I like the tile up the wall. Kind of has a little bit of a vintage flair to it, kind of mixed in with everything else. Love that. Nice and bright. Got the window up there in the bathroom, keeps it bright. And look at that, the tile even continues. What we're doing is we're looping around. This is actually a shared bathroom, kind of like a Jack and Jill arrangement. I love how the tile continues to the door. That is so cool. And the floors are in such incredible shape. I mean, look at that. So we're in another secondary bedroom. Again, got the crown molding going on. And a lot of times that didn't exist in a lot of the ranches. Well, it might have existed, it just wasn't installed. And look at the size of this. That is enormous, and that's a king bed for reference. And look, you got king bed. Well, one way you can kind of tell when you walk into a room and it's either lived in or it's staged, if you look at a king-size bed plus 2 nightstands, that kind of gives you an idea of the size of the room. And those are wide nightstands as well. Plus, look at all the extra space you have in that room. And that's sometimes in a ranch is tough to get. Nice crown molding profile. This is on the front side of the home there. But the nice thing, even though some of these rooms are on the front side of the home, is you're significantly off the street. Oh yeah, like that floor selection there. Got walk-in closet straight ahead. Walk-in shower. And that's one thing when you're looking at remodels or even new construction. I personally, I tend to look, I don't know that there is a thing as timeless, but I shoot for it. Yeah, look at that. Same finish in the shower. Nice. I try to shoot for some sort of timelessness. So when I look at finishes, I like clean lines. I like colors that are going to last a long time. And when you go with whites and kind of subtle colors like that, that's going to just add life to a whole remodel or a whole build. So just for reference, we're coming back down the hallway, working our way back toward the living space. So you've got 3 bedrooms on this end of the home. You have the primary and you have 2 secondaries that share the 1 bathroom. We have storage closet on our left. We're making our way back to living space. And look at the view straight out of this space. All right, let's go outside and check out one of the gems of this property. Just look at the view from the back of the house. That is awesome. And it's nice and bright too. Just has a really clean look to it. You know, if you're an entertainer, you know, this is just incredible how you've got the covered space, so it's pretty much all weather. Here in Tennessee, you know, a lot of times if you're not, you know, avoiding the cold, a lot of these porches that you see in Tennessee, you can use them in the winter too. You know, maybe not on the bitter days, but a lot of times people call a 4-season room that is all closed in. But in Tennessee, a lot of these areas are at least 3 seasons, sometimes 4-ish. But, you know, you can entertain in the closed-in area. Look how much open porch you have there. Kind of provides different conversation spaces. Got plenty of parking back here. You're on just over an acre. Got multiple steps down. Mature trees. And that is something not to take lightly. It is awesome to have mature trees or mature landscaping in a home. That is just awesome. Listen how quiet it is. Hear the birds and everything. So whether you're an entertainer or you just like to be outside with your own group, this is a perfect spot for it. And you know, the porch, I don't know if it'll come across in the video, how deep the porch is as well. Sometimes you can have a covered porch and it's kind of shallow and you think, well, the rain and everything's still going to blow in. This one's so deep, and the way the ceiling is vaulted, it just makes for a good open space that's kind of shielded from the elements. And look at that. You're not reaching out and touching the next home. Okay, so we're coming in the back sliding door and we're turning to the main living space, dining, kitchen. Let me give you one more look at that kitchen because everybody wants to see the kitchens. Got your wine cooler, got a prep sink or a bar sink. People also ask about storage. I think you can see from the cabinet design there's not a lack of that here. You have storage everywhere. Okay, well, that was a walking tour through 4005 Estes Road, and that is in the heart of Green Hills. I hope that helped. I hope it helped kind of put a relationship of how the rooms are laid out in the home, and that you got a feel for how well they remodeled it. I mean, it looks spectacular. So if you would enjoy seeing this home in person, be sure to reach out. I'll be happy to set up an appointment for you. If you have any questions about real estate and related, it doesn't matter if it's here in Middle Tennessee or 38 Florida, please reach out and contact me. I enjoy answering questions for people because I truly believe the more educated people are about the process, the better decisions they make. And I am always happy to help with that. So my name again is Sean Larson, real estate broker here in Middle Tennessee and 38 Florida market. And if I can help you out at all, please let me know. I hope you have a super day.